Let's talk about your Upwork profile and how you can beat the $5 per hour people. I'm using $5 per hour people because I didn't want to name any ethnicities or anything, because I have clients from all over, and I have to do something that I never thought that I would have to do, which is be inclusive. But yeah, that's why I'm using the $5 per hour people, because one of the main things that I hear is that people ask, well, why would someone hire me if they can just hire someone to do something for $5 per hour if it's just cheaper, right? And wrong. Competing on price is a no-no. And I want to help you stand out. I want to help you build a profile so that you don't have to compete on price, but on, let's say, your skill, your uniqueness, your whatever results. Because when you do compete on price, this is what you look like. Exactly, this is literally you when you compete on price and like try and prove yourself of like how good you are. Not how good you are, but how much like you're willing to do the job and stuff, like on your profile. Instead, you want to be much more, you want to build authority, right? You want to be like, yeah, I'm an expert. You want to show that. You want to get people to want to work with you instead of you begging to work with other people. Now, how to do this with your Upwork profile? Point number one is that really focus on building it. If you're just starting out, just make it good enough. Just make it good enough. You also have some points in the full guide that I made, but I'll give you a lot more points here. And just focus on making a good enough profile so that you can start. But then after a while, you really, really want to test and change things and just make it perfect, because over the long run, it's what people will find you. It's how people will find you and how you'll be able to get a lot of leads coming in your way. So really, like, take it seriously. Number two. Okay, what every good profile, just think of it like a sales page. You have an identification part, right? Like, what do you do and for who? Is it email campaigns for e-commerce businesses? Is it for course creators? Is it for coaches? What do you do for who? Is it for online businesses? You can also do that. That's what I used to have. It's very important because you want the people to think, yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This is for me. That's a important part. Then what you also these are not like in order of how you want to write them. These are just some frameworks and ways of thinking that you want to have while writing. Positioning. You want to position yourself as the only sensible option, as the only option that makes sense, because there's a ton of, how do I say it politely, there's a sort of shit copywriters on Upwork, and no one wants to hire those, right? And from a client perspective, when you come to Upwork and you post a job, all you see is this not good copywriters, and you want to show that you're actually good, that you're in that sea of sameness, that you're actually the person who will get the job done. That's kind of how you want to be thinking while writing. And to do that, a practical tip is to make fun of the opposite, just diss people. If you're cheap, you make fun of these boastful copywriters, like, haha, it's just words, like, bro, chill out. Why do you think you're worth $200 an hour? If you're expensive, you're like, whoa, well, these people who cost you $10 per hour who have no idea what they're doing, right? You want to make fun of the opposite. For example, I make fun of boring copywriters because I couldn't build my brand up around being fun. By the way, if you want to see fun copy, just go to my email list and you'll learn a ton. It's in the description. You'll learn a fuck ton about being fun and just the Upwork journey and getting clients and blah, 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 blah. You'll love it. Anyway, to get back to this, just diss other people for the qualities that you don't have, because that also makes you seem like the only good option on Upwork. Okay, this is a very important step. Don't skip it. Then, focus on one thing. Be the sales page copywriter. Be the email campaign copywriter. Be the blog writer. Be the, I don't know, plumber. No, be the one thing. Obviously, you don't have to just do one thing, but that's how you get your foot in the door to seem like an expert. And then, I mean, if they need a sales page, of course, you can write them. I mean, you're the copywriter after all. But by focusing on one thing, for example, I say I'm an email copywriter. I know people who say that they're landing page copywriters or sales page copywriters. You automatically look like the best. Especially when you have your identification. Hey, I do exactly this for these people. I am the best, everyone else sucks. I only do one thing. Do you see how the authority just shines through? If not, just get some classes. Then use your personality. Like, you're a copywriter. It's very important to use your personality and actually write and show off some skill. You don't just want to do all of these things in a very bland way. The way you write should be there. If you make jokes, make some jokes. If you're very authoritative, if that's your style, then do that. If you're very serious, be very serious. But just, if you're playful, be a little playful. None of this needs to be rigid. Trust me, use your personality and show off your skills is going to help you a lot. Well, this is a big chunk of text. Know people's concern. Like, think about the client's perspective. For example, they don't want to get a piece of copy from you that does not sound like them, that they think like, what the fuck, this is not me. So you can mention that in your profile. Then hiring the wrong person. They think they're gonna hire the wrong person. If you show them that you get exactly what they want, for example, they can know that they won't hire the wrong person. If you show off in your profile already how good you are, if the copy of your profile is good, that adds to it. If you have a lot of very good portfolio pieces, that adds to it. Reviews and stuff, yeah, of course, but you know that. Okay, have portfolio pieces with tags. Very important. I have like a bunch of portfolio pieces and each one has the same tags, and yeah, just fill them up. The tags are actually very important for you to come up in the search engine. Like, it's just a trick that you should know about. Then don't be too aggressive if you're just starting out, because you need to earn it. You can build authority in other ways that I'll tell you about quickly, but don't write like my profile is, for example, right now. $50 per hour. This profile is different from what you've seen so far. I don't write like other good email copywriters who deliver perfectly acceptable, blah, 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 blah. As you can see, this is quite cocky, this is quite arrogant, this is quite strong. And my whole profile is like that. And I do not think you should copy it if you really don't know what you're doing and if you don't have quite some reviews already. But I don't really want to work with anyone. I know who I want to work with. I know that this will work for those people. And I don't really care if I get hired on Upwork, because I also want to move off it. So I put a high hourly rate and I come off quite strong, because that's what I want. That it attracts the people that I want to attract, and it repulses anyone else. So that's why I did it. But I don't really think you should do it. I think you should be mindful of how you're coming across. If you're a beginner, if you don't have some solid reputation on Upwork yet, then really don't copy this. And don't, because a lot of people want to have this like I'm a god authoritative style, but it really backfires if you don't have any job history. At the beginning, mine really didn't look like this. You have my profile in the other video, the full guide, my profile that I used to use. So yeah, build authority, but don't be more cocky than you should be, because it backfires. Even this that I do is quite strong, and if I really cared about working on Upwork, then maybe I wouldn't come off as strong. But since I want to move off it, but if I get a very nice job, then I still want it. That's why I put it. Now, about price, in my experience, like this is not a rule of thumb for everyone, like this is what I think. Starting with $15 per hour worked very well for me, because it's not the please hire me, I'm so cheap anymore, but it's still a beginner price. And there are some people that tell you to start at 50 or something like that because that makes you look good. I tried and it never worked. It did not work for me at the beginning. So I said, okay, fuck it, drop the ego, 15. And I got hired shortly after. And then I did a couple jobs, moved to 30, did 2 or 3 jobs, moved to 50. And now I got a job for 50. And I'm probably going to do 1 or 2 more. And then I'm going to move to 70 or whatever. You get the picture. So start low. I think you should start low. Maybe someone else doesn't agree and maybe it works for someone else. I think you should start low. Now, pro tip, but not too low. Not too low. Pro tip. If you say that you don't work with unethical businesses, you can do it in the end of the profile and say, look, I don't work with just anyone. If you're selling something unethical or scammy, please don't reach out to me. This is a way of disqualifying people, even if you're a beginner, because everyone can say that, but it still disqualifies some people and it still shows some abundance. It still says, I don't work with anyone. So feel free to include that. And then say, well, and if you're looking for blah, 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 feel free to send me an invite. That seems to be it. So just to recap, really focus on building it. In the beginning, use the identification part. Position yourself as the only good guy to hire. Make fun of other copywriters. Just diss them and show how good you are. Focus on doing one thing. Very important. Use some personality, like for fuck's sake, write well, like I know you can. Really put yourself in the mind of the client, as you should know this as a copywriter, like what objections people have. Have the more of a technical advice, have portfolio pieces and put in many tags. And don't be too cocky. But the more advanced you are, feel free to do it. And that's it. Once again, if you want to learn copywriting in a very, very, very fun way, then go to the email list in the description. That's it. Bye.